one of the things that's attached to masculinity is being a leader, right?
Yeah.
Being that voice, being that strength. And it's like, how can you lead when you aren't led spiritually, right?
Everything you need to know about how to be who you need to be is in the Bible.
Don't hang out with your boys. You're a man. You be alright.
Yep.
Thug it out.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got enough to do. That's why you talking.
Everyone has various levels of mental capacity. And I think a lot of men, they keep trying to go until they reach a breaking point.
Welcome to Epi Das It Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb, and I'm here with
Bianca.
Yes, and we're here for a special episode, man. This episode here, I can't wait. Feel me? And I want you guys to think about this episode a little different, right? It's going to be like a little workshop. And it's a workshop for my fellas that are in their 20s. And no other person would I want to have this conversation with, none other than my guy, Jerrell. How you doing, man? Welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
y'all
Yes,
for having
sir,
me,
man.
man. Thank you.
How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm feeling good. I feel like this is a very pertinent topic. And, you know, we've been going back and forth for weeks trying to make this happen and rescheduling. But no, I'm excited to see what we could put out. So I'm hyped.
Yes,
We're
sir.
here. I feel like divine timing, right? This
It
is
is.
a perfect time to have this conversation as it is Black men's mental
health month.
month.
Yes,
Timing.
exactly.
Timing.
We know who tried to take over this month, but nope. Let's focus.
Wait, Caleb, who's trying to take over this month?
Chill. Chill.
You scared?
They know who
You
they
scared?
are. We listen. You know what? We're small. We can't get canceled yet.
Yeah.
Pride's trying to take the men's month. You feel me? But
Listen, there can be multiple things happening at the same
Exactly.
time. It's all about where you put your focus on. And
Exactly.
right now we're putting our focus on our Black men whom we love and want to see great. So that's what we're talking about. And
Precisely.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for this workshop here, spoke with my guy Jerrell, spoke with Bianca. We're going to break it down into 5 different topics that we feel like Black men in their 20s need to focus on. And so we're going to start it off with the first one.
All right.
And I believe it's the most important one.
Is it?
Spirituality.
All right.
So, you know, above everything else, we got to bring it back to God.
Thank you for that cue. I like
Of
that. I
course.
like
That
that.
was smooth.
So, yeah, so tell us, man, how has, your spirituality, or how has, I don't know if you're a religious person, you feel me, how has God just been a major, or if he's been a major part in your growth as a Black man in your 20s?
Mm-hmm. And I definitely think over the last couple of years, I just turned 25 in February. So
Let's go.
Nice.
I definitely feel like over the last 2 years, my relationship with God has grown stronger.
Beautiful.
Particularly because one of my close friends, my best friend from high school, Fernando, very devout Christian, and he's like been like dropping dimes, and like he would send I love the Bible app now because every time he would just send me a request.
The verse of
And
the
then,
day,
the
or
verse
like
of
the
the
little
day.
Bible plan.
Yeah, or the Bible plans. And like, I feel
Yeah.
like over the last 2 years, that's really
Shout out to Fernando. We love
shout out
friends
to my
like
man
that.
Fernando,
Come on
for
now.
real. So he's been a real friend, just like not trying to be too pushy, because I know that there was a time where I was just very negligent, but allowing me to naturally come back into my faith. So I think I think it's just very important, especially for men early in their 20s as well.
Yeah.
Because I know we're going to talk about masculinity and everything, but it's like one of the things that's attached to masculinity is being a leader, right?
Yeah.
Being that voice, being that strength.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you lead when you aren't led spiritually, right? Like, how can you lead? You want people to follow you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people talk about what's the common term when it comes to like dating, or like submissive, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Submissive.
they want their woman to be
Submission.
submissive, but
Yep.
as a man, who do you submit to?
Right, correct.
That's a
And,
fact.
and I think it's important that spirituality, what religion it is, I think it's important for you to submit to something and have that guidance.
I love that. I think the only follow-up question I have for this is, in terms of spirituality and manhood, what do you think are key things from spirituality that makes a man stand on his faith and, I guess, exude that in every single aspect of his life?
Ooh, that's a good
Oh, that's a
question.
good question. And I think honestly, it's just being vulnerable.
I
Knowing
love
that you're
that.
knowing that you're not perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially within the Christian faith, you know that Jesus died for our sins, right? So it's like knowing that we're going to fail. A lot of men struggle with failing. And knowing that we have that faith, particularly in Christianity and Jesus Christ, knowing that we have someone that died for our sins, knowing that we don't have to be perfect all of the time, would allow us to have that comfort to be able to fail and like, have that strength to end up going and leading our families and our relationships and our community. So
that's beautiful.
I love that.
I would not lie. I'm just gonna quote a good brother of mine, my guy Armani. You feel me? He said, "The more you know Christ, is the more you know yourself."
That's a fact.
You feel me? And it's literally, man, I wish I had my Bible. Everything you need to know about how to be who you need to be is in the Bible.
For sure.
You feel me? I'm doing a 30-day challenge myself right now about reading one scripture a day, you know, mandatory. And today I read Proverbs 12 and it was literally just talking about living a righteous life and versus the wicked. And he literally stated everything. It was literally back to back about, listen, you do this correctly. This is what happens if you don't do it correctly. You do this correct. This is what happens if you don't do it correctly. So I believe, like you said, just submitting to Christ, you feel me? Or I guess we'll say the higher power, whoever you believe to, will definitely allow you to become who you need to be and be able to, like you said, lead, you know, whether that's your family or in your workspace or in school and all the stuff like that.
I agree. I think as cliche as it is, but that terminology, WWJD, what would Jesus do, is so on brand. It's like, especially as a man, if you want to look up to someone and if you don't have like a father figure, if you don't have like an older brother, if you don't have a mentor, somebody in your community that you can look up to, a pastor or whatever, whomever it is, I think one of the best people to look up to is Jesus and think, what would Jesus do in every single situation? And it's one of those things that can build the best character ever. So it's like, you can never go wrong. WWJD. You about to get into an argument, you know, WWJD.
Jay-Z.
Not Jay-Z, but JD. Hallelujah.
That was crazy.
Get thee behind me, Satan.
I got the Jay-Z shirt. I got the Jay-Z shirt on too. I got the Jay-Z. Not that Jay. Not that Jay. Not that Jay. Not that
Big
Jay.
J, not the little one. Okay, so there's that.
I don't know if it's just me, but lately I've been seeing a lot of people been turning, you know, into the Christian faith, and I've been getting so excited.
I think it's half and half. It's so crazy.
I think
really?
I think it's half and half. I think
it's half
a lot
and
of
half.
people are also becoming Muslim as well.
Yes, that's where I'm seeing that too.
I've seen
Or more so turning away too.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't
It's
been
weird
seeing
because
turning
I feel
away.
like we're in a cusp. And I don't know if anyone else feels that, but I think I've been feeling that a lot. We're like at this cusp in this time, in this generation specifically. I feel like especially coming through the pandemic and just kind of like people trying to find themselves and find their identity. I think what we're seeing a lot of the times from me and my perspective, it might be different from the both of you, where I'm seeing like there's a lot of people that is turning to God. That's like, oh, I want to build my relationship with God. But then I see a lot of people that is coming away from God because they're trying to find themselves within themselves. So they're mostly going through spirituality or they're going through all these other things to find what it is that they're looking for when, you know, we know where the source is. But I think people are trying to find themselves in this season and it manifests itself in so many different ways. So I'm seeing half and half where it's like, Jesus Christ, my personal savior, hallelujah, won't he do it? And then I'm like also seeing, well, actually, this new age, this, and there's that, and there's, you know what I mean? Yeah, like, I don't want to claim religion. I want to claim spirituality. And you know what I mean? Like, the universe. And the...
That's
so I'm just,
me off.
no, I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, but your views might be different in terms of...
I see where you coming from, too. I
didn't see the Muslim thing though.
I know a ton of people that have been coming Muslim.
I mean, I've always known the Muslims is deep.
Yo,
you feel me? They deep. But I haven't seen where it's like, are we saying converting too?
Yes.
Oh,
converting.
cool.
I think the actual term is reverting because I think in Islam, I think they believe that everyone's a Muslim, so they end up coming back. I think that's
I never
correct.
heard that.
Don't
That's interesting.
Oh, that's
good. I think that's how the perspective. But I think especially with us being like, you know, the very socially conscious generation, I feel like that's where a lot of people have been exploring. And I think it's good. I
Yeah.
think one of the things that even for myself specifically, I'll talk a little bit more about my faith. I heard you guys talking about church recently, earlier, and like, I still haven't gotten into the church thing. I've gone to
That's
church a couple
understandable.
times, and I just always felt like my relationship with God was always intimate, and I believe in the word, which is why like reading the Bible and prayer have been just like my main two things
That's
that have
the
been
most
keeping me
important
going
thing.
over the last 2 years. So
That's the most important thing, but I will add on in saying that church is also very important because it's community, and biblically speaking, iron sharpens iron, and who you frequent, who you surround yourself with can either build you or pull you back. So I think it is very important for that.
Okay.
And this is coming from somebody that's a bedside SDA. You know what I mean? Like, I be at home watching service. I love that. That terminology gets me.
Bedside
every
SDA.
SDA. Let me tell you something. I'll be in the Sabbath resting, okay?
As
and
you
then I'll
should.
tune in and be like, hallelujah, won't he do it? Thank you, Jesus. I got the same message I got, but from my bed. But there is a difference and there is a reverence when you step into the house of the Lord.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a rendezvous, right? Because when we, granted, we spend time in the Word, right? We open our Bibles and stuff like that. But how easy is it for us to say, actually, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, and I don't open my Bible?
Yeah.
And then we'll read it tomorrow. It's like, oh, it's cool. It's no big deal. I still got
That's
into the
true.
Word, right? But going to church is like, oh, this is a rendezvous. I'm going to get dressed. It's date day. I'm going to meet with Jesus, and we are going to sit here in his presence amongst other people that are here for the same purpose. And we're going to talk to each other. We're going to open our minds, and we're going to exchange, and we're going to commune with one another. And you know what I mean? It's something about it that it's just, ooh, won't he do it? But I understand you got to build to that, and then find the place that's for you. So it's always understandable.
And that's exactly how I was going to go. It's a lot of churches out here, man.
Yeah.
And just finding the one that you really resonate with is the challenge in this. So take your time, bro.
Of course.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Appreciate
you already
y'all.
got the main things locked in anyway. So
Yeah. Spend your
good
time in the Word.
So,
Because that will always guide you to where you need to be and what you need to do. And then allow the Word to convict you on your own time. Because everybody's journey is going to look completely different.
Yep.
So there's that.
yeah. So I believe. Hey,
Oh,
that was a
last
lot.
thing. If we're going to stick on spirituality real quick, last thing.
Okay.
The same way that your friend put nuggets for you and you're here now spending time with God, how do you actively spread back what you're receiving?
Good question. And I think I do this mainly between social media.
I love that.
And the way that I do that, and I still think my faith is a personal thing.
Yeah.
But just like also with over the last year, I've been doing a lot of mental health things, posting like I follow this great page, Express Yourself Black Man. That's been helping me get through a lot of things. Every now and again, I'll screenshot my favorite verse, and I'll just drop it on the corner of my picture if I'm in the gym or something. Like, oh man,
You're not one of those people that minimize it where I gotta hold and read what it say. Okay, because those people grab my gear, boy. Say what you need to say.
It's an aesthetic though.
Make it bold.
Yeah,
It's an aesthetic though. It's an
All right,
aesthetic.
but people like me who's nosy, I want to know what you say.
It's an aesthetic. I wouldn't go
Screenshot
that.
and
Make
zoom
it
in.
bigger.
Yeah.
I don't gotta do all of that. That's too much work.
Screenshot is crazy.
I'm not
Screenshot
that
and zoom
nosy.
in. I gotta
I'm
see.
not that nosy now.
Screenshot is crazy.
Okay.
But, I think, I feel like it's just a good channel not to be too overbearing, like too pressing, but like people that's like, hey, no, this is the word and this was speaking to me today. So every now and again, I'll throw a verse up there. So
I totally
love that.
agree. I totally agree.
We start in any and every way.
True. Me, the way that I do it is to the birthdays are the major ones for me.
What do you mean, the birthdays?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Like usually when I'm saying the happy birthdays, that's when I mostly drop my nuggets.
okay.
The may God bless you. Just throw that in there. You feel me?
May God show you favor over the years. God has kept you, loved you. Give thanks.
So I was definitely throw it in there. When I'm doing the check-ins with my people, I throw it in there too. And recently is when I really started to like faithfully just like post it fully on the story.
That.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
It's mostly a way for me to hold myself accountable because I'm a little crazy. When I post something on my story, I'm my own personal hater.
Okay.
So if I'm like,
What you mean?
oh yeah, if I post this today and I say I'm going to do it daily, and then I end up being lazy in myself, I'm like, there's one person that's probably like, look, he not posting this today.
Oh,
Accountability.
Accountability.
So I'm my own person over.
Nah, that's
Oh, yeah,
Not you posted God, so people don't think that you're not reading your Bible. Wait, did you actually read it, or do you just take a picture and post it?
I read it.
I read it. I get that.
Afterwards, I do my aesthetic little thing, with the laptop. Feel me? And then I do the aesthetic post. But I actually read it first. You feel me?
Nah, I respect it.
Feel me? But
anyway, you post it. Yeah, I'm here for it.
So,
I'm here for it. I think it's important to share that aspect of your life.
Yeah, for sure. And I also check in to make sure, like, I'm not crazy myself. So that's why I ask my people. I'll be like, yo, do y'all want me to share the knowledge and stuff? And a lot of people responded yes. So now I know I got the confirmation. Now that's when I lose my number one hater and be like, nah, I'm serving those people that said, you got to make sure they see the knowledge. So that's how I've been doing it.
Okay.
Myself.
Heard you.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I like
You
it.
feel me? Yeah, that was a great question, man.
Welcome.
But yeah, so all in all, to sum it up, you feel me? Spirituality, I believe, plays a big role in your growth as anybody. I'm not even going to categorize this one as just men growing up in your 20s.
Yeah.
It's just everybody in general. You feel me? So the next one I want to hit on now is mental. Sheesh. This one. Ooh, this one is it's a
Black
lot.
men and mental health.
Yeah. As you guys already
Stigma.
know. You guys already know this is June, Men's Mental Health Month. So talk to us a little bit, man. Like, how do you manage to retain yourself mentally as you grow in your 20s?
Yeah, damn, these last 2 years have been a lot of just like growth and development.
Yeah.
So a little bit more context. I'm gonna get a little personal, but I was in a relationship from age 18 to 23.
Wow.
So all through undergrad, I was with someone for 4 years and 3/4, almost 5 years.
Wow.
And I feel like the masculine thing to do is like, oh, like I think I'll be good without this if it goes south or something like that. That breakup hit me like a Mack truck.
Wrecked you.
Hit me like a Mack truck. I don't know. Yeah, like I was doing things that I thought I wouldn't do. I was feeling ways that I didn't know how to feel. I wasn't handling certain things the right way. And that's what really prompted my journey and my commitment to more taking care of my mental health. Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things was just like cleaning my Instagram feed. So I said like one of the big thing that I've been sharing over and over again, Express Yourself Black Man. He gives daily affirmations, clips from different of his podcasts that just talks about like different things that men have been going through. And then I found a therapist later in the year.
Let's go.
Granted, the therapist wasn't that great, and that's one thing you see with therapy. Yes, you got to shop around. It's trial and error. Yeah. But the reason why it was just good for what it was is that I just had a lot to get off my chest. Like I had a lot to get off my chest. So much that I haven't spoken about that I never even thought to speak about. And like after that, I did that for a couple months, and then I realized I wasn't really rocking with the therapist, so I took a break. But I circled back. So I've actually since March I found a new therapist, and we've been going pretty strong. And then one thing that I've been trying to do is like one thing that I do in my personal time is like I try to go to career days, or I try to speak to the youth, a variety of ways. So I always try to drop a mental health nugget. And then the last thing that I've been doing, I've been posting, like, I asked my therapist, like, can we recap all of our sessions through text? So I could just, like, have something to review. And then, like, every week before my therapy session, I post last week's notes. So, and I have, like, a story highlight. So I can almost share my experience with people. It started off in the private story. I started doing that in my private story. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me. It's like, yo, like, I appreciate you for being vulnerable. Where should I look for a therapist? How's your experience been? And then, like, once I got comfortable enough and mustered the strength, I was like, all right, I think this could help a lot of people. Let me start posting my therapy notes on my story. So that's where I've landed so far. So
that's beautiful.
I love that. That sounds so intentional to ask your therapist for the cliff notes.
Yep.
And then it's like, it's not only for just yourself, but it's like, here's some nuggets for y'all. If y'all are dealing with what I'm dealing with. And I think that it takes strength and vulnerability to not only do that for yourself, but to do that for others. Cause it's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of therapy, though, did you go looking, or did somebody lean you towards it, or how did that go about?
I think it's just like, I don't want to say it's becoming very mainstream, but it is a little bit. Just like seeing it in social media. I just know I needed someone to talk to. Like, I relied on a lot of my friends to speak to people to get that perspective, just to unload a lot. But it would be better if I had a therapist that could actually give me strategies and mechanisms to work through the things that I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, it was a little bit more. It's like self-imposed, self-motivated. The first time around, and then I was going through a little hard time earlier in the year, like around March, and I was talking to one of my close friends, and he was like, "Oh, maybe you should talk to a therapist again." And I'm like, yeah, I think I should circle back on this. So I did the search again, and then good thing too, like when I first did my search in 2022, I didn't find that many Black male therapists.
Yeah.
It was very hard, but I was just very delighted when I went back Psychology Today and I did a search again, and I'm like, yo, there's a lot more Black man therapists, and I'm like, okay, this is good. And it's like when I'm sharing with people, I'm like, there's definitely Black man therapists on there. So
that's good, man. That's good, because the reason why I ask is because, you know, for a while now, therapy has been something that, you know, the old 50 white man sit on the couch does.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so the fact that now a lot of men are, you know...
Not even. More like the white women. What do you mean the white men? No, they too busy getting that money.
I've been seeing more white men do it.
Now?
I've seen more white men speak about it. Not before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I used to see white men
Interesting. I thought definitely dominated by women.
Dominated by women. That's 100%. Like a woman's
like
women's
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
From my perspective,
okay.
I just don't see the men.
No, that's totally fine.
It's been something that isn't, you know, mainstream, but now a lot of times we've seen Black men speak about it now and actually pushing that narrative to go to a therapy. I even went to a therapist myself too. I ain't gonna lie. Last year.
Why you had to say it like that?
What?
I ain't gonna lie. Why you had to say it like that? And I only asked you that because the point that I was going to get across before you started speaking, and I waited for you and you led me to it, was how heavy the stigma of Black men going to therapy was, and how it was just like frowned upon, especially within our community. Not just Black men, but Black Caribbean men at that. It's about, you know, you have Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Talk to Jesus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Don't hang out with your boys. You're a man. You be all right.
Yep.
Thug it out. You ain't got enough to do. That's why you talking. You in your feelings because you ain't got much to do, right? And I think, to your point in saying that it's becoming mainstream, that's why representation is so important in all spaces. And I think that's why it's one of the things that I talk about in terms of whether it's spirituality or your personal life or whatever the case may be. It's so important to be a walking testimony because it helps and it allows other people that look at you or around you or thought about something or is in need of something to say like, oh, if he's doing it, then why can't I? You know what I mean? And the more Black men go to therapy, the more they share that, then it's like the more open and free it is. And for you to discuss as well, because when's the last time you heard your boys while you sitting in a circle be like, yo, boy, like, how's that therapist going? Like, I actually help me shop around. How'd you get da-da-da-da? Like, that vulnerable conversations aren't being held too often because you're afraid of being laughed at or talked in a way about. So that's
not
really
even
important.
just being laughed at. It's just the way it was instilled. Like you said, the Black Caribbean. It's like, oh, what do you? If anything, come talk to me. That's what my mom be saying. You know,
just for them to yell or talk about you or tell everybody on WhatsApp your business. It's ghetto.
It is very.
It's ghetto being Caribbean.
And so my mom told me that all the time. She's like, after God, you can come talk to me. I'm your first woman. You know what I'm saying? After me, when you get married, then you can talk or you go with your wife. And I'm like, Ma, I want to tell you what I mean.
Exactly. Like,
you ain't gonna see me as your little boy.
It's too filtered. It's not honest or authentic.
Like, you feel me?
So like sometimes I find I'm telling myself I'm talking to my therapist and I'm like, damn, like I haven't told nobody this. Yo, I'm glad that in that contract is a fine print. Like, yo, I have not told people this. Like,
I'm telling you.
So it's good to have your own safe space. And then like normalizing like the therapy and the mental health. Like that seeing someone else doing it makes it a safer space for other people to come and like.
And respectfully, I'm no man. Yeah. Respectfully, I'm no man. Mm-hmm. But as a lover of black men of Jesus, hallelujah, won't he do it?
Amen.
I think as women with partners or with friends, we can tell when you're carrying a lot. Right? It shows up in the way that you talk to us, the way that you operate, and the way that you're guarded, or the way that you show up in general. We can see it, and sometimes we feel defenseless because there's nothing we can really do. And we try to be as nurturing and loving and caring as possible. But there's certain things that you don't even want to burden us with by telling us because you want to carry that weight. And we can tell that. And I think, just like you said, the biggest part of going to therapy, it's not even like, I need you to fix me. It's like, bro, I just need to drop this off me. Yeah. I need to get it off.
Get it off.
And once I get it off, half the time I feel better. I'm good. Literally. Actually, don't even care what you got to say about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't even need you to help me over here. I already know the answers. Yeah. I just needed to get it off. You know what I mean? So I think that that's deep. To just get somebody to talk to and make it somebody that's impartial, that don't know your life.
Exactly.
You know? Because then they're not biased, or they don't have a judgment. They don't have anything about it. It's literally their job to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's why I want to go a little bit about it too.
Yeah.
Is I want to talk about in terms of talking with your friends.
Yeah.
And I want to mention mental capacity. Mm-hmm. Feel me? Do you guys believe mental capacity is a thing? You know, and if it's something that's not something that's really talked about,
I'll let the men speak and I'll follow.
Mental capacity in terms of like how much one can take or I think it definitely is a thing. I think we all get overstimulated, and then like there's just a lot going on. Like getting a barrage of texts, and then you got to do work, and you're trying to do things. You're trying to get your life together. So I definitely think everyone has various levels of mental capacity, and I think a lot of men, they keep trying to go until they reach a breaking point, and I think it's important to identify. It's like, all right, or if you reach a breaking point before, all right, I'm starting to get to this point again. I need to take corrective action so I don't crash out. You know, so we all have varying levels of mental capacity. Some people are stronger than others. Like it's true. I think everyone is built differently. And that's why it's like we should all get in tune and know ourselves, and then know when to seek help and do those things. So bless you.
Yeah, facts. Thank you. The reason why I said that is because lately I've been like kind of not being a person to vent to, because it's like people be like dropping and telling you stuff out of nowhere. Yeah. It's like, I was not ready to hear all this. You know, now I'm in the headspace where it's like, okay, now I'm thinking about, you know what I'm saying, whatever you just told me, and I got my stuff to think about. So I just wanted to mention that because I don't think when I tell, the set people like, yo, listen, I just can't right now. And then I tell them I literally can't too much on my mental. They're like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you can't talk right now and stuff? I'm like, yo, it's too much. I'm at capped at my mental capacity. How much I can take.
Capped. That's it, buddy. That's it. Put it back. Seal the lid. It's good.
And I'm not being mean, but it's just like I just wanted to mention that because now it seems like it's not something that's like common where people know that.
For me, it's really interesting. So I don't know. I got the capacity of a well. Dump on me, babe. For all the people that I love in my family, it's really given like, it don't matter when, where, what time, I have the space for it.
Okay.
Dump. You're good. Like, let's talk it all the way through. Because I think maybe it's because I was a social worker for some time.
Okay.
And so maybe that's part of it. But I'm the friend that you can come to and tell all the things. Because I'm also the friend that pays attention, and I can tell the changes. I can tell the body language. I can tell the tone of your voice. I can read through the text messages. I know when to call. Like, yo, what's good? What's up? What's going on? And I will sit and let you go ahead and go all the way off. And then my response at the end is always, I ask permission for what is it that you need in this moment? Do you want me to just hear you?
It's a perfect question.
Or do you want me to, like, do you want advice? Or do you want me to ride out? Right? So ride out meaning, like you need to, just the affirmations. Ride out is really affirmation, but the ghetto version where it's like, heard you. Yeah, sis, go off. You did that. And should. What about it? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm gonna amp you if that's really what you need in this here moment, but let me know when you're done, because I still need to let you know about yourself. Right? But in real time, there might be different things that you need, right? So I'm that friend. Come cry to me, come talk to me, whatever it is. However, with that being said, I don't have that friend for me.
Just about to say, that's a heavy burden. Like, I was going to say, like, where do you dump? Like, where do you dump?
To Jesus Christ.
Respect.
Okay. Nah. So when I say I don't have that friend to dump on, it's more so like, because I have amazing, and I'm talking about giants in my life, like women that I adore that are like 10 toes, like really that girl for me. It's more so because one, Bianca in real time doesn't process emotions.
Okay.
I process logistics, right? Then I move based on the logistics. Then the feelings catch up later. And when the feelings catch up later, because I'm so sensitive to those around me in terms of what they got going on, a lot of times I won't even dump on you because you don't even, and I don't know, I think because I wear it so well, you wouldn't know unless you really, really, really pay attention, which rarely happens. But I don't dump on my friends. And if I do, it has to be like the only time I dump on my friends is like real time stuff. Like real time stuff, like on some real time stuff.
Don't expose your crazy. Don't expose your crazy.
I can't speak on, but like, you know, and they know who they are, they ride. But it's like emotionally
that's a tough thing to carry though.
It is, but it's like, it's not, I don't know. I always said that one day I would go to therapy, but I'll know when I need therapy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll know when it calls for me.
She's saying she built different. You see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody is built differently. Everyone is built differently. So,
okay.
I hear that.
Yeah, I have the capacity to take. But also, at the same time, I will say that, like, I think if I wanted to, I could have the people to pour that into, dump into. But, I don't know. I think because I know them too well, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to put you in that space because you just want to hug me every time you see me if I told you what's going on in my brain. Yeah. And I don't got time for that. I want us to just vibe out and laugh and chill. Let's keep it surface.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Aren't men supposed to be built that way? Supposed to is a crazy word.
Not.
Go ahead. You
I don't want to say supposed to because it's like even just thinking about. I'm also a community organizer, so I've realized that. Like, especially during civil rights, even now, like, Black women have been, like, taking a brunt of, like, you know, the trauma and, like, the leadership and those type of things. But I feel like there's a lot of men that that do that as well. And it's, like, internalized a lot. Like, because we try to be there for everybody, right? We're trying to make sure everyone's taken care of, our families, our partners, our friends. Like, there's a lot of men who, they just keep on taking and taking and taking and taking. And then, like, you know, God forbid, but we hear just like, you know, suicide's affecting men the most. And it's like they take so much because they feel like that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then they never like release.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something that's like been built into us and ingrained into us, just like with being the leaders and trying to be like the ones for our families and the support system. Like I think that's been built into us as well. So
I'm going to caveat, and I know it's not really in the topic we're on, but it's still on the topic. Okay. With that being said, in a romantical relationship, let's say in marriage or in girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, right? If you're both going through something, who dumps on who?
Sheesh.
I'll get dumped on.
Yeah,
I'll automatically get dumped on.
I'll take the dump on.
And I think that's a part of this like masculinity as well. Yeah, that's a part of it.
Pay into the game, man.
I think that's what a lot of like women want in their partner. They want someone that they could rely on and trust on. I think, I would be the one to take the dumping.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? I find that in speaking to people that I know in relationships, or even sometimes in marriage, where they say the woman actually takes the dumping.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not that supposed to or not supposed to, but naturally does. Because what happens is theoretically, what happens is women give surface level dumping, right? Where it's like, oh, this girl at work annoyed me, or like, oh, I went shopping and this bothered me, or like this upset me real right quick and but like the emotional core, not necessarily, right?
That's true.
Okay.
Because we also see all that you're doing and all that you're taking on, especially we're in a loving, committed relationship, and we know that we're the only ones that can de-stress you essentially. And soften you back up. Okay. Right? Because you're Superman outside, but when you come in, you got to be able to take off your cape, right? And when you take off your cape, you're a human being to whom? Your wife, right? And the human version of you is the vulnerable version of you. It's the softer version of you. It's the version of you that tells your partner the things that the world doesn't know. It's the version of you that is the most comfortable and nerdy and goofy and silly. And this is where you get to do that at. But then if I dump on you, right? My internal whatever situation, you carry it. And when you carry it, there's no light in the room. It's heavy in the room. Because men naturally want to fix. Yeah. So if you're in fix mode, you're not in loving mode and having fun mode.
True.
But women, we fix and love at the same time.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Just perspective. I don't know.
So, I appreciate that perspective. Because you see how fast you answered it.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen it from other couples that I know personally. But then if you say it like that, then at the same time, I guess we both on both sides withholding. Because the guy also be like, man, I'm not even gonna tell her this before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She have to hear all about this.
Because think about your older parents, like you'll see like your mother probably was crying about something or somebody died in her family and there's probably a lot of wounds that opened up, but she's still making sure like, oh, let me get the kids together. Let me make sure there's food in the house. Let me make sure this is here and we can still laugh and joke because I want everybody to feel good. And I want the energy in the room to be great. True. Like we curate the energy in the room all the time. So we have to suppress certain things because it's like, if I let this out, the whole atmosphere in here is going to change.
That's true.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
That's true.
Women yield a lot of power in that.
Yeah. You gotta do Q&A on the story about this. That's a go one. This is Q&A. You feel me?
I got you. What was your question though, man? I forgot.
No, we answered.
We answered
it.
Yes. Then next thing I want to touch on is trauma. You feel me? One thing that what's his name? I forgot what psychologist spoke about that. He said that everybody needs to heal from their childhood trauma. So do you guys believe that's a thing? If that's a thing that everybody has to heal from, or just, or if, childhood trauma is just a thing of the past and then that's that?
I think you definitely have to deal with your childhood trauma because those things would manifest their ways in the future one way or another. And you don't want your personal issues or your historic things to show up in new relationships and the newer versions of yourself, right? You don't want that to affect something that you have good going on with someone, whether it's a friend, your partner, a job. Like childhood trauma can manifest itself in so many ways, and it could shape how you react to certain situations, how you speak to someone, how you deal with your issues, and it's like, you really have to work through those things so it does not affect your future, So, you definitely have to identify what those things are as well. Sometimes you're not even aware of it.
Yeah.
That's true.
You might not even be aware of it. So
that's true.
For sure.
I agree because when I went to therapy, I didn't even know, like anything, too much of anything is not good, right? So apparently when I went to my therapist and I was speaking to her, that was way back, apparently your parents loving you too much is a sign of childhood trauma. So I believe, I forgot the word. It starts
where
with
their
E.
trauma is manifesting in them loving you too much, or them loving you too much is producing trauma for you?
For me.
Elaborate.
Yeah, I would love to hear this.
So basically, I forgot the word. It starts with an E though. E something. But basically, it was okay, so I'm gonna explain it like this. Exactly how she explained it to me. So because my mom was over caring for me, and because my mom over loved me, it caused me But thank goodness it didn't happen because I ended up, coming here after the earthquake. But basically shielding your son or shielding your child too much, don't allow them to fully develop into who they're supposed to be.
Because like you're bubble trying to, your kid. Got it.
Because you're trying to.
Okay. I think the love threw me off because I'm like, I don't know.
There you go. That's
okay.
Thank you.
Bubble wrapping, cool.
Basically, yeah. So because I was an enmeshed child, I think that's why I truly believe
that's so
me
nice.
coming
you
after
all
the
loved
earthquake.
by your mama. That's
Todd,
cute.
Mama's boy.
Cute.
Facts, I'm a mama's boy too.
But yeah, because she loved me so much, she cared for me so much, that led me to start having those, if I don't get that type of, which led to my romantic relationship stuff, where if I don't get that same type of love from my partner, I feel like something is wrong all the time. So now I'm always constantly asking, hey, you okay?
You need affirmations all the time.
You feel me? Because that's what I used to do from from my mom and stuff like that. So when she had told me that, when I tell you, I ran down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh.
A rabbit hole. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So this makes sense now.
Yeah.
This makes sense and this makes sense. So yeah, man, like this is why it's such a key, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because if I had never went to go to the therapist, I would have probably never found that out.
Have identified it.
And I probably would have been like, why am I acting like this? But then it's just something you got to talk to somebody that knows nothing about you and that's learning you as you tell them. And so, yeah, man, childhood trauma it's a real thing. It's something that everybody has. And I don't know if it's something that you can actually, I don't want to say beat, but you can actually evolve from by yourself.
I like that you say that, because for me, my perspective is I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, you can't correct me if I'm wrong. It's my opinion. I genuinely don't think that you can necessarily be fully healed from childhood trauma, right? Because when I think of the word healed, I think of, I don't know, like let's say you got a cut. You know what I mean? And it's healed, right? Like it's covered up, the stitches gone, whatever the case may be. You can produce new skin over it. It's like it never happened. You might have an afterthought of it, but it's as if it never happened. And I think that childhood traumas is something that is reoccurring, that can always be re-triggered. I think the only thing personally that I think that you can do with childhood trauma is, one, like you said, identify it, understand it, and gain perspective from it, which then changes your perspective of your life and the way that you interact with individuals and stuff like that, and you grow from it. Exactly. But I don't think you can be healed from it, because I don't know. Personally speaking for myself, like I have childhood traumas a ton. And I've recognized them. I've kind of like assessed, gained perspective, given it to God, the whole shebang. And like I've gained perspective, and like I changed the way that I view things and people and places and what I accept and don't accept, to essentially guard my heart. And I think that's it, but they reoccur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They reoccurred. Those feelings still come up, My
question is, though, you don't act on the feelings though, right? Or is it something that you feel in and you let it go?
Okay, so a perfect example is like abandonment, right? Like I have a lot of abandonment issues stemming from childhood. And the way that it will always come up, holidays are triggering for me. Holidays are the worst for me. But with that being said, because I have identified it, I know where it comes from, I know what this feeling is, I don't isolate myself during the holidays, right? Because that's detrimental to myself. So I shift my perspective in saying, like, you know what? Although I feel this way, and although this is a fact, because logistics, again, although this is a fact, I also think about like, but God has blessed me with so many other people in my life that has become family, where he's replaced what I don't have with something else. So there is a supplement there. And then also it's kind of like being with people that bring light in life within that season or within that time. And even if I'm by myself, then I know also scripturally as well, where it's like, I'm never alone. He is always with me. You know what I mean? Like no mother, father, or anybody. It's always going to be him. He's always going to be there for me. He's my personal savior, so on and so forth. And so like that sustains me and that fills me. So I think there's a hole, but there is, in recognizing the hole and recognizing what it is, it also allows you to gain perspective and find the ways to fill in that hole where it's like you're functioning and you're good and it doesn't own you. It's not your identity, but it's just a part of your story.
And that's the growth, right?
Yeah.
Because healing is not linear. It's not like a straight line where like eventually you'll get better. You have some tough days. Some things might trigger you. And it's like, I feel like when you're constantly saying that you want to heal and stuck in healing, I feel like you're trying to stay stagnant or you're looking for something that might not ever happen. Whereas like you're growing through the trauma, right? You know how to, like you said, you know how to respond to the trigger. You know how to break down, why is this triggering me? Why do I feel like this in the right way? And how am I going to go about it? Versus where earlier on, it's like you get triggered and you're down for a couple weeks. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
because I feel like people use that terminology like, I'm healed, as though it's like a Band-Aid. Like you just stuck it on. It's like, I'm good to go. Like, no, it's still underneath the Band-Aid. Like the pus is coming out.
No.
Like, you not good, my brother, my sister. Like, just, it's cool. Like, you have a scar. I know. We know. What are we going to do about it? You need ointment? Like, you know what I mean?
Pus is crazy. You need some rubbing alcohol. You feel me?
You need to go to the hospital. But it's just like, but if you know, then you know what you need. As opposed to saying like, nah, I'm good. I talk to somebody. It's all good. Babes, what? Yeah. It shows up. It's just always going to show up in one way or the other.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. Before we move on to the next topic, anything else on mental that you guys want to touch on?
I think this is good.
I think we're good?
Yeah.
All right, let's lock it in. Next up, fellas, financials.
Oh.
Financials. Men's and they financial. Let me step back and be quiet.
Yep, because all you do is run. Yeah, because all you do is run the money, right?
Let me tell you something. Run his pockets dry.
Yeah. I bet.
JK, not JK.
But financials, man. How do you feel that men in their 20s should be managing? Well, we're not pocket watching. Let me first say that. But knowing how to manage money is very important. So how do you go about that?
So even before I even get to that question, it's crazy just like tying this in the mental. I seen a funny quote that said, men deal with trauma by trying to get rich.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. I agree.
And it's like, I agree. And I think we got to make sure that doesn't become like part of our identity, right? Like, I think it's important for us to be financially stable. Like, if you want to be those leaders, especially also like when you're dating. And I know the next conversation is relationships. Like, if you're dating, it's either find someone that's going to be humble with you, or, if you're going to pursue a certain type of woman, make sure that your finances are set in order. Yeah. But I think just overall, like, I think it's important to have a plan to make sure that you're financially stable. Yeah. But it's also important, like, money's is going to allow you to have freedom, but that's all that it should be. Like, freedom and your responsibilities, and then leave it at that. Yeah. You feel me? Like, if you're trying to grow and develop, then sure, but you shouldn't let that dominate all that you got going on.
That's true, but then I also want to blame society. It plays a big role on it, because most definitely once, like you said, relating to the quote, once anything go wrong with your life, it's always never had no money. You feel me? Even in high school. Oh my goodness. I had a friend of mine in high school who whenever he can't cut your ass back, the number one thing he always resolve into is, but you broke.
But you broke. Let me tell you something. Nothing cuts deeper than somebody telling you broke.
And that shit hit different.
And that's men and women, but heavy on men.
But here's the funny part, though.
Nigga, you broke.
But here's the funny part, though.
He was
ugly.
No, he was ugly. He was ugly.
So whenever he would be like, but you broke, I'm like, nigga, you get no. You chop, bro.
That's another insult that cuts hard to the heart, bro. And I always say this, sidebar, I always say, Lord willing, if I ever have kids, and my little girl or my little boy come out looking a little cray, a little funny looking or whatever,
be careful.
I'm going to make sure. No, because you never know. You know what I mean? And if my baby come out looking a little cray, because, some of y'all parents got to be honest. Some of your kids look a little horrendous. And it's okay. Because what I will always instill in my child is, one, being hilarious, because it'll get you in every single room possible, and you will laugh a girl out her panties.
That's a fact.
Okay?
That's a fact.
Get your money up as we talk about finances. because you ugly, but you got money though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Biggie said? He ugly, but you know he stay Gucci down to the socks. You feel me? Like, stop playing with him. Big Papa, he's not cute.
Nah,
like,
he call himself
y'all
ugly.
remember Flavor Flav?
Yeah,
God.
He had girls lined up trying to get
Flavor Flav.
That's a flashback.
He had a
was
whole
chopped.
show for a bachelor.
the
That
show
was
Flavor
crazy.
Flav. Like, let me tell you something. Get your money up. You always gonna have the ladies. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. And lastly, just being a good human being with a good heart.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That is a nurturer and caretaker. And, you know, you be all right. You be all right. You always be all right in this world, no matter who you are. And a sense of identity within oneself. Then it's like, no matter what somebody say about you, yeah, I'm ugly. Okay, cool. But I'm smart. I get money. I'm funny. What's up?
That's a fact.
Touch me if you want to.
It's not even just,
you know. So
in terms of the financials, though, I do want to say that being broke definitely enhanced my other personalities. You feel me? Like you said, the being.
Say that again for the men who have no personality.
Oh, very important.
Who have no identity.
Very important.
Outside of their finances.
Very
who don't know
important.
what to do with the money in which they have because all they were focused on was collecting it, but don't know what to do with a girl when they get a girl. Because all you know is what you want to buy the attention. Okay? After you done dangled the trips and the money and the bag and then what? Who am I talking to? Who are you?
Damn,
What you got going on?
We skipping session.
Yeah,
We didn't even get to that yet. We didn't even get that to that yet. We didn't even get to that yet.
No, because that
You spoke from the soul
no,
just now.
that's beautiful. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that I've experienced that personally, because one thing about it, I like me a well-rounded man because I'm a well-rounded girl. But respectfully, for all my girls out there that be talking, they talk about these men, you know what I mean? Yeah, make his pockets hurt. Okay, cool. But then what? But then what? What are we trying to build here? So talk about it. Talk about the enhancement of the other parts of you outside of your finances. Let me take it down a notch because I'm a lady. Go ahead.
So me being broke definitely enhanced my other my personalities. It's just like the reason why I said it like that is because they said if you go blind or deaf, then all your other senses definitely heightens.
Yeah.
So me not having no money, I had to figure out how I'm definitely gonna be still a person who walks in the room with his head held high and still be able to look at you in your eyes, and even know if you have more money than me or no, I'm still me, you know? So being broke made me definitely be a little bit more hilarious. You feel me? Like you said, being funny definitely
got you the girlies.
Get you in rooms, man.
Yeah.
Which rooms we talking about? The
kitchen,
next the living room, the bedroom.
Get you the rooms, man. You feel me?
And then hold on, pause real fast. Don't forget, Jesus was broke. Big Jesus Christ was broke. But what was he doing? He was out here. You feel me? He done traveled, broke by foot, but broke. You feel me? He done had disciples. A whole bunch of men around him that believed in what he had to say. Why? Because he was smart and connected to God while being broke. He taught you to live. Man is not supposed to live by bread alone, but every word of the living God. Hallelujah, won't he do it? So you telling me what's your identity is stemming from? What you got going on outside of the dollars?
That's important.
Exactly. Back to the money talks. I'm just saying all of this to say that though, besides the funny, it made me know how to connect with people. Yeah. Because when you have money, everybody likes you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
You don't know who's for you.
Exactly. So me being broke definitely made me know how to connect with people more, which is why I've always been able to attract who I have been able to attract, because when I'm engaging with you, I'm engaging with you from the core. Yeah. You feel me? I'm engaging with you because I see me, I'm a great person. Thank God he gave me the spirit to see people or to see through people. You know what I mean?
Discernment.
And, feel me? So I could know when, money defines you.
Like you're here for something, not me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can see it, to the point where I let it play out, of course, to see like, are you going to show me or are you going to let me tell you, but yeah, I'll definitely say being broke definitely made me who I am. Because like you said, money to me is just a tool for freedom and also to pay my bills.
Yep.
For sure.
Without that, and once that's covered, man, we lit.
Yeah.
You know, we outside. You feel me?
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, having money is also beautiful. Why? Because having money also helps you get access to certain things. For example, I started making a little money. Tired. You feel me?
All right, my boy got it.
Yeah.
Heard
So
you. He
making a
up.
little bit of money.
My son up.
Tech STEM.
Shout out to Vento. And because now I started to get a little bit more money, now I started to know about, you know, high yielding savings accounts.
Yep.
Because you got to know, you got to reach, you know, what you got to reach. I started to study about Roth IRA.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I started studying about how to invest, but not specifically into stocks or anything like that, but into, you know, what you call it? The index funds. You know, so if I wasn't, you know, making the money that I am making now, then these things would not be on my mind because I'd be so focused on getting
survival.
And getting. Exactly.
Survival mode, yeah.
You know? So finances plays a major part, you know, for a man because we have to provide point blank period. But don't let it be what it is. Don't let it define you.
For sure.
And it's all about stability, all in all. Like that's what it should be, right? Like I want to make sure my mom's retired. I want to make sure my dad's comfortable. I want to make sure I'm prepared to live the life that I want to live. And you should just plan for that, right? It's all a part of the plan. And like you said, it shouldn't be a part of your identity. So
interestingly enough, I think the best way to see, not the only way, people, one of the best ways to see a man's character is to see him in different stages. And one of the stages is when he doesn't have it, when he's going through a season where he doesn't have it. The reason I say that is because if his identity is rooted in his finances, then the affect of the lack of finances is going to show up in how he treats others, how he talks, how he walks, how he behaves in all of those ways. So if you have a man that when he's lacking still shows up in terms of still personable, still caring, still trying to find ways to, you know, make a great experience, whether it be a free date or whatever the case may be, still showing up who he is, then his foundation is deeply rooted in something that is solid and not something that is wavering, because finance is something that's wavering. It's paper. It comes and it goes. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that that's one of the most important things. So
no, I agree.
So before we even move on to the next thing, I just want to wrap it up, fellas. Just go chase the bag, though. Don't be fooled. Get the money. But use the money to be able to not let it define you, but be able to help you propel to be a better person. You feel me? Because I remember that, I don't know if it was a quote, but it's a saying. It says that money only shows you who you really are in the end anyway. You feel me? So if you was a bum, you get some money, you just a rich bum. Like, you feel me? If you have a bad mentality, terrible characteristics, you're just still that same person, but just rich.
Gonna show up again. It's gonna show up again.
You know?
I've seen so many corny dudes with money that I literally will say no to every single time. I've had the corniest men with money. And when I say corny, I don't mean like y'all idea of corny, because y'all love to call Russell Wilson corny. I don't think he's corny. I think he's a gentleman.
For sure.
I think he is a well-rounded, wonderful human being who loves hard. And I love that. And when I say corny, I mean like a loser with money. That's trying to talk to you like they could buy you. And it's like, are you dumb? Because I get money too.
Facts.
So now what? What? You know what I mean? Like, and I think men that operate that way are men that are insecure. For sure. Because you have nothing else to lead with outside of your finances. And I think that it works hand in hand with the city girls in terms of like, I'm going to make his pockets hurt. I'm going to run him for all he's got. But then it's like,
it was crazy. It's when they say there's really somebody for everybody, there's really somebody for everybody. There's a guy like that,
but that is not for me.
It's
not for me. Go get you one of them. But you know what's crazy? They like the girls that's not that. They like the girls that It's like that don't really, you know what I mean? It's so strange.
So, I know you're about to move on from this topic, but I guess I wanted to ask this question. Just like, how do you feel about, like, you specifically, how do you feel about being in a relationship where you make more money than the man?
I don't feel no way.
I was gonna go there.
So specifically for me, I don't feel a way. I think if I make more than my spouse, I don't think men are intimidated by women that make more money. I think men are intimidated by women that behave like they make more money, right?
Yeah.
Like they are superior.
Yeah.
I think that's what men are intimidated by.
That's true.
In terms of if in the traditional roles of a man and a woman, right? The man provides, he shows up, he leads, he's this and he's that, he's the head of the household, X, Y, and Z. And I make more money than him, and I treat him as though I make more money than him in terms of like, I want to make all the decisions because, well, my money is involved. Or like I'm putting more anyway, so I'm going to pick the furniture and I'm going to pick that. That's constantly belittling a man and emasculating a man. And I don't think that's necessary. So if I make more money, then that just means we have more money in our savings. However, I will still allow you to do all the things that you need to do, right? Respect. And because money, again, like I say, money to me is fleeting. Money is like, it comes and it goes. It's really nothing. So the way I treat a man has nothing to do with what I have or what I don't have. And I think that's what's important. So I don't think I've ever had a man that was ever concerned about my finances, although I've always been somebody that has been that has fought to be financially stable and take care of myself. And I think any man that comes in my life knows or talks to me knows that before you came here, I was fully sustained. And after you leave, I will still be fully sustained, which is one of the reasons why men that come around me or in my life are more, they desire to give me so much more because one, I'm not asking, and two, it's like she could do it for herself, but I just want to show her that I got her. You know what I mean? And also like I just treat you in a way that makes you feel like a man that wants to do that for me. So I think that that's what I say to that. Yeah,
and you could still show up in ways that like and lead in a relationship, even if your partner's still making more money. Like
you can be the house husband. Go get the bag.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I don't want that though. I don't want that at all.
And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely like, comment down your thoughts down below, and definitely subscribe with the bell on so you can get these videos every time we drop.
And if you'd like to see more content, please be sure to check out our latest video right over there.
I'll see you next time.
Peace.